Hey, this is C&D Channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for UFC Fight Night 70, Machida versus Romero, which happens on June 27th. Overall, the main event's good. Co-main's good. You got some decent fights on here. There really aren't too many great prospects on this card. Levan Makashvili, he's a really good prospect. But man, he's fighting a finished product in Hacran Diaz. Alex Cowboy's on the card, he's awesome. Some of the other guys on the undercard and the prelims, I'm not particularly high on as far as prospects go. I don't think they're like blue chip prospects by any means. Larkin versus Ponzinibbio's, I think, going to be really good. Bosse versus Santos should be a fun stand-up fight as well. Let's just get started. Lyoto Machida fights Yoel Romero. Yeah, Romero, 9-1 record, 8 wins by KO TKO, 1 win by decision. He's 38 years old on a 5-fight win streak, training out of ATT. He's an Olympic-level wrestler with strong boxing, super heavy hands. Guy knocks guys out. He changes his tempo a lot, where he'll go really slow, and then he'll just explode, slow, explode. His takedown defense, earlier on, his takedown defense wasn't very good. Once he started to actually practice takedown defense, Tim Kennedy, for example, couldn't take him down. So I would say that his takedown defense is pretty strong. Lyoto Machida, 22-6 record, 9 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by submission. 37 years old. He is a former UFC light heavyweight champion with a karate-style stand-up. Very elusive. He uses a lot of movement. Kind of pot shots a lot. His takedown defense is really good. And he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well. Stylistically, if this were Machida from just 2 years ago, I'd probably go with Machida. I can't help but think him coming off such a quick turnaround after getting choked out by Rockhold and just getting beat up in that fight kind of hurt him. He's reaching 30 fights now, so he has a lot of wear and tear in his body. He doesn't take too much damage in his fights, but he's starting to. You know what I mean? Jones put him out, Weidman, he had a war with Weidman. Rockhold put him away. I can't help to think that maybe, just maybe, Machida is pretty much on the beginning of his decline. Romero, despite being 38, he only has 10 fights. And the guy's an athletic freak. This guy's a freak athlete, Huge for the weight class. Stupidly strong. A stupid good wrestler. I'm going to go with Yoel Romero by KO or TKO. I can't help but think that Romero's going to be able to catch Machida somewhere. As good as Machida's takedown defense is, and his use of distancing helps his takedown defense, I can't help but think that Romero does a football-style tackle on Machida and takes him down, and maybe does some ground and pound there too. I can see, I don't want to totally say, Machida, it's not like Machida has no chance of winning here. Like I said, it depends on the form that I see. Maybe I'm totally off. Maybe he just makes Romero miss. He counters. And, gets the opportunistic counters. Once he gets into a rhythm, hey, he can beat Romero. So, not super confident in this pick. I'll say this right now, too. As far as this card goes, there is only one fight I'm confident in. That's it. Alex Cowboy Oliveira versus Joe Merritt. That's the only fight. It's the only pick I am super confident in. Every other fight, nah, man. I see avenues for either guy. Easily, either guy. Going with Yoel Romero here, though, I just think that he doesn't have as much wear and tear. He's older as a person, but in fight years, he's not that old. Freak athlete. I think he can catch Machida somewhere. Romero, KO or TKO for the win. Next right at that, Lorenz Larkin fights Santiago Ponzinibbio. Lorenz Larkin, 15-4 record with 1 no contest, 9 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by decision, 28 years old, training out of Millennia MMA. He has unorthodox stand-up. He'll use a lot of different kicks, for example, jumping kicks even. His takedown defense is actually pretty solid. One of his biggest weaknesses is he's something of a low output striker. He really waits for like that perfect moment to unleash offense. Otherwise, he's not. He doesn't initiate enough, and he just doesn't have a lot of output with his striking. Santiago Ponzinibbio, 19-2 record, 11 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. Also 28 years old, on a 2-fight win streak. Training out of Team Noguera and ATT. Stand-up is solid here. He beat up Sean Strickland in his last fight. His grappling is actually pretty good. It's not great, but it's not bad either. Here's the thing with Larkin. If he wins, I doubt it's by decision. I don't see it. He does not have a style of stand-up that is, like, usually guys who win decisions would be high pressure, high output. That means like guys like Diego Sanchez and Leonard Garcia can punch air because they're so aggressive, but they're always throwing high output. And with someone like Larkin, his style just isn't tailor-made to go win decisions unless they're really convincing. At welterweight, he looked really good against John Howard. I'll say that. I'm really going back and forth with this. I almost always pick Lorenz Larkin to win fights. I can't do it here. I just can't. Here's the thing. I underestimate Ponzinibbio a lot. Like, seriously, I think I underestimate this guy a little too much. I think he's going to be I think as far as a style, if it goes to the judges, I think Ponzinibbio has a better style to win a decision. He's aggressive. He'll go forward more. He's got a good chin too, and he does throw a higher output than Lorenz Larkin. I also feel that Ponzinibbio is just kind of putting. He's at a point right now where it seems like he's kind of just putting everything together now. At this point in his career, and maybe Larkin is. It's tough to say. I just gotta go with Ponzinibbio to win. Higher output. He's more inclined to be the aggressor. Might even take a shot to give a shot. It could turn out to be like Costas Philippou, like Lorenz Larkin, where like Larkin's hitting him clean, he's just taking it, and then Ponzinibbio or like Philippou was just hitting harder, and eventually put him down. Could be like that. It could go the other way. Like I said, these picks are really hard for me. I'm gonna go with Ponzinibbio. I just think he's put his overall MMA game. It's coming together better these days. I think he has a style that's a little more aggressive. So I'll go Ponzinibbio. I'll go by decision here. I think on a technical level, though, Larkin's has better technique as far as how he throws strikes and whatnot. And like I said, he can win this. He can land some really good shots. He's a pretty accurate guy. But I'm going to go with Ponzinibbio to win this one. I'm going to go by decision. So right after that, Eddie Gordon fights Antonio Carlos Jr. Both these guys are Ultimate Fighter winners. Antonio Carlos Jr. has a 4-1 record, 3 wins by sub, 1 win by decision, 25 years old. Ultimate Fighter Brazil Season 2 winner, right? If I'm not mistaken. I forgot if it's 2 or 3. 3. Season 3 winner. It's going to be his first cut to 185 in the UFC at least. I don't know if he's fought 185 before. He's fought as high as heavyweight. He is a really high level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and his stand-up is improving. Eddie Gordon, 7-3 record, 3 wins by KO TKO, 1 win by sub, 31 years old, on a 2-fight losing streak, training out of Cerro Longo. He is an Ultimate Fighter winner. Stand-up's good, and he's a good wrestler, too. The problem with Eddie Gordon is, like, I don't know what the problem with Eddie Gordon is. He lost his last fight against Dempsey in a fight that, like, he was more than capable of winning. I don't know what it is about his game that is just, like, falling off already, you know? The guy has 10 fights. Trains at one of the top camps, but, like, there's just something about his game that isn't clicking, you know? He can wrestle. He can wrestle well. He can strike relatively well. He hits hard. He has good takedown defense. But, like, I don't know if he's really put it all together. Antonio Carlos Jr., though, like, I mean, he's not a great wrestler. His ground game's awesome, so you could catch him there. And in his stand-up, I gotta favor Gordon just a little here. I'm gonna go with Eddie Gordon to win this one. Not super confident in this pick. Once again, like, I'm not confident in any of these picks, I have to say, but it just, I think he can outstrike Carlos Jr. and defend any takedowns. Maybe he'll get some opportunistic top control, maybe at like the end of the round or something like that. Eddie Gordon, probably by decision. So at that, Steve Bosse fights Thiago Marreta Santos. Steve Bosse, 10-1 record, 8 wins by KO TKO, 1 win by sub, 33 years old, on an 8-fight win streak. Training out of TriStar. It's his first fight in the UFC. I believe it's his first cut to 185, and he last fought in May 2013. That can mean a lot of things, actually. This could actually mean he was going to retire, and then he came out of retirement. He could have just improved his skills a good amount, you know, so, or he could just be really rusty. I don't know. I remember watching some fights of his. I remember seeing him knock out Houston Alexander. Stand-up solid. He's particularly heavy-handed as well. Thiago Marreta Santos, 10-3 record, 6 wins by KO TKO, 1 win by sub. He's right now trading wins and losses. I believe he's coming off a win right now. Name of his game is just Muay Thai. You know, he has a lot more variety than Steve Bosse as far as his striking goes. He should be the smaller fighter. I remember Thiago Marreta Santos could actually, I believe he actually fought as low as welterweight before. Doesn't look too bad at middleweight, and has actually fought some decent guys at middleweight. And I mean, he got Korean fight Cesar Mutanch. Did relatively well against Uriah Hall, actually. Tough one for me to call. I think it would be a fun stand-up fight. I can't really say who hits harder. I'd assume Bosse, but you know, it's not like Santos has like pillow fists or anything like that. I like the variety of Thiago Santos' game as far as the stand-up goes. I'm gonna go Thiago Marreta Santos by KO or TKO. Part of it, too, is just, I don't know what we're going to see out of Steve Bosse. Really. It's his first fight in the UFC. It's his first cut to 185. And he hasn't fought in 2 years. You know, it's like, I can't, you know, I can only assume a lot. And what I've seen I liked, but it's like, I don't know if what I've seen, like when he knocked out Alexander and whatnot, and knocked out a lot of his competition, by the way, it is the guy we'll see that's in the cage against Thiago Santos. I don't know if that's going to be that guy. At least I know Thiago Marreta Santos' game. I know that he has variety in the striking. He's carved himself something of a niche in the UFC as a fun action fighter. Thiago Marreta Santos, KO or TKO. Next fight after that, Hacran Diaz fights Levan Makashvili. Makashvili, 7-1 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by decision. He's only 26 years old on a 2-fight win streak, most recently beating Machida. He's a strong wrestler. His stand-up is improving. His problem is bouts of inactivity. He's low output. There are some times where he will just stand there and stare at his opponent. Hacran Diaz, 22-3 record with 1 draw. 3 wins by KO or TKO, 9 wins by sub. 31 years old, training out of Nova União. He is a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He can be a grinder at times too. He'll grind against the cage. He can get takedowns and just grind there as well. But his stand-up's actually improving. He can watch his fights even against, like, I thought he did really well against Ricardo Lamas. Arguably even winning that fight. I think he dropped him at one point. Nick Lentz managed to take down Hacran Diaz and grind on him. I don't think that Levan has a similar game, but I don't think he has that wrestling ride position and the back take, that type of control. I don't know if that's just in Levan's game. I always think of him as slam dude to the mat, ground and pound, allow his opponent to get back up, slam him to the mat again. He's more of that type of grappler, wrestler, With that said, I gotta go Hacran Diaz here. He's another guy that I think is finally just putting stuff together. I liked what I saw when he fought Darren Elkins. Stand-up looked good. He can grind. I mean, Diaz's takedown defense is pretty good. And he can scramble well, too. So I think Levan's going to have a hard time really implementing his game on Diaz. Especially if he wants to wrestle with him. Because I think Diaz could probably... I think he can arguably even match that game. I also feel that Diaz's stand-up has been greatly improving as of late. So I'm going to go Hacran Diaz by decision. I just think that on the feet he's going to be a little better. I don't like that Levan Makashvili, that he can have bouts of just utter inactivity. Wrestling-wise, I have a hard time seeing Makashvili really grind and wrestle Diaz. I know Nick Lentz managed to do it. I just can't see Levan doing that. I think he's just going to also just have a hard time taking Diaz down. I can see Diaz even going for his own takedowns as well. So, Hacran Diaz by decision. Under the prelims, Joe Merritt fights Alex Cowboy Oliveira. Joe Merritt, 6-0, undefeated record with all 6 wins by KO or TKO, 31 years old, training out of Millennia MMA. He has a finisher. He's never been to decision. His first fight in the UFC. Here's the thing with Joe Merritt. I mean, his overall level of competition is pretty weak. I mean, did he fight Gladiator? There's certain promotions that are pretty much guys crushing cans. One is Explode Fight Series. The other one, I believe, is Gladiator Challenge. I think Joe Merritt's... I should have checked. I think he's fought in one or both of them. I think it's Gladiator Challenge. The name of his game is Striking's not too bad. Alex Cowboy Oliveira, though. 11-2 record with 1 no draw and 1 no contest. 8 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. This guy, strong mood. He's a good prospect. He's a fun action fighter, strong Muay Thai. His takedown defense is really good. Had a hell of a fight against Gilbert Burns. He's a blue chip prospect. Beat him up on the feet. Managed to defend a lot of his takedowns. And then in his last fight against KJ Noons, oh, the stand-up's not working that great for me, so I'll just take him down, take his back, and choke him out. Okay, well, cool. So he now also has that in his arsenal, too. Alex Cowboy, Oliveira, I'll go by KO or TKO. I think Joe Merritt's going to be overmatched here, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm really high on Alex Cowboy. Yeah, just KO or TKO. I just see a finish, really, by Oliveira here. So at that, Sirwan Kakai fights Danny Martinez. So by the way, just to tell you, I did watch footage of everyone here. So like everyone making their UFC debut, I did watch footage. So I saw a fight with Sirwan Kakai against Joe Barantes. Is that his name? Saw Luis Gonzalez's fights. I saw him in like World Series of Fighting and whatnot. I saw Tony Sims, his last fight. I saw Steve Montgomery's fight against Brock Jardine. So I didn't see a lot of other fights. I'll just watch like one of their fights. But anyways, Sirwan Kakai. 11-2 record. 4 wins by KO TKO. 6 wins by sub. 25 years old on a 2-fight win streak. Training out of ATT and also somewhere else in Sweden. The gym's name I totally forgot. His first fight in the UFC. So what I saw from his game when he fought Joe, I think it was Barantes. Or Barantes? Yeah, something like that. Stand-up's good. Showed some pretty decent takedown defense when he was up against a cage. And I particularly liked his leg kick game. Danny Martinez, 16-6 record. 8 wins by KO TKO, 3 wins by sub. 30 years old. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. Trains out of Alliance. Classic wrestle boxer here. He's pretty aggressive. He'll throw an overhand right and go for the takedown. Kind of sloppily, but he'll keep doing it. And he's always pushing forward. Man, they're like lower level. Both these guys are kind of like lower level fighters. It's really tough for me to say he's gonna win this one. I'm going with Danny Martinez. He has a little more experience. For one, he's fought in the UFC. 2, at the very least, the guy is game as hell. I mean, you watch Carriazo fight. He's always in the fight. You watch his fight against Jorgensen. He was actually beating up Jorgensen on the feet. I'm with Danny Martinez. I just think he'll be able to push forward enough, pressure Kakai enough. And I'll go Danny Martinez by decision. Next fight, that Luis Gonzalez fights Leandro Buscape Silva. Or is it Busgate? I think it's Busgate. Anyway, Silva, 17-2 record with 1 draw and 1 no contest. He has 1 win by TKO, 10 wins by sub, 29 years old. He is big for 155. I keep talking about this. Lightweight has the huge Brazilian, like these hulking Brazilian top control grinders. Leandro Silva is one of them. He's one of many of them. Machida, Gleison Timo, Brazeres, Leonardo Santos. And then they even have strikers, too, that are, like, huge. Forgot that one. There's one guy who fought 185 that now fights at 155. Adriano Martins is also one of the guys, too. Elias Silverio, Anyways, so Silva, he is a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. His stand-up's average. He's actually working on, like, better head movement these days. But he doesn't throw a lot. That's the thing. If he takes it back, though, he has a really good back control. So that's something Luis Gonzalez has got to watch out for. Luis Gonzalez, 10-1 record, 2 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by sub, 27 years old, is first fight in the UFC. He's a good wrestler, average stand-up. He does try and pressure his opponent. So he is a pressure fighter. Tough one for me to say because, once again, first fight in the UFC, he's up against one of, like, many lightweight gatekeepers in Leandro Silva. I like Luis Gonzalez's game just a little better here. I think, especially if it goes to later rounds, he can get some more volume with his striking. Maybe get a takedown on Silva. Or maybe get takedowns on Silva. tough for me to say because, with Leandro Silva, he has this way of surprising me, I guess. His ground game's really good. Stand-up's alright. He's very limited, but, he's also just huge, too. So, I gotta wonder if that's gonna play a factor as well. I'm gonna go Luis Gonzalez. I think he can pressure Silva enough, rack up some points, and get a decision victory. And finally, Steve Montgomery fights Tony Sims. Okay, so Steve Montgomery, 8-2 record, 5 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub, 24 years old. He's tall for a weight class at 6'4". He's on a 5-fight win streak, training out of ATT. His first fight in the UFC. Most people probably know him from The Ultimate Fighter, ATT versus Black Zillions, where he's the guy who got a seizure. Name of his game, really, from what I saw, was his clinch striking was particularly the strongest part of his game. He's particularly good knees. Stand-up's average. His range striking's not too bad. He does throw kicks and whatnot. He does throw a lot of single kicks, though, which I don't like. His stand-up defense was pretty poor against Brock Jardine. That guy just was tagging Montgomery right and left. And it's because Montgomery just kind of allows his opponent on the inside. Tony Sims, 9-2 record, 7 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub. So he's a finisher. He's 29 years old. He's going to be a much shorter fighter at 5'11", and his first fight in the UFC. From what I saw from him, I saw one fight. It's the most recent one. He's a good boxer. Doesn't really use a jab much, though. But he's a pretty good counter striker as well. And his wrestling offensively isn't too bad. One of the things about him I didn't like, though, this guy got caught in some deep submissions in his last opponent. I mean, reverse triangles, arm bars, guillotines even. He got caught in some pretty deep submissions. He got out of them, but that's not a good look. Tough one for me to call. I kind of like Tony Sims to go on the inside here and manage to blast Montgomery. Not to say that Montgomery can't just get, it really is a case of is Montgomery going to get the clinch, pin him up against Gage, and knee him and dirty box him to death? Maybe and work a better outside game, or is Tony Sims going to be able to get inside and work his offense? I'm going to go with that. Tony Sims is going to be able to get inside, work his offense, hit him with some hard shots, and I'll go with the KO or TKO win here. To recap, on the main card, I have Yoel Romero over Lyoto Machida, Santiago Ponzinibbio over Lorenz Larkin, Eddie Gordon beating Antonio Carlos Jr., Thiago Marreta Santos over Steve Bosse, and Hacran Diaz over Levan Makashvili. On the prelims, which are on Fox Sports 2, I have Alex Cowboy Oliveira over Joe Merritt, Danny Martinez over Sirwan Kakai, Luis Gonzalez beating Leandro Silva, and Tony Sims over Steve Montgomery. So that's it for my predictions for UFC Fight Night Sunday, Machida versus Romero. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.